Welcome to MKE ARTS Live, presented by the United Performing Arts Fund. Today's theme is Revitalizing Milwaukee, and the Kabat Thomas cello duo from the Milwaukee Symphony Orchestra is going to kick us off.
Well, thank you. Welcome, everyone. Good evening. My name is Peter Thomas, and this is Madeline Kabat, and we are the Kabat-Thomas Cello Duo. I know what you're thinking. Indeed, it is a very clever name. We're cellists in the Milwaukee Symphony Orchestra, and we're also married. To each other, of course. That little piece that you heard was a snippet of one of Antonin Dvorak's most iconic and most beloved pieces in the entire orchestral repertoire, his very famous cello concerto in B minor. And as you may or may not know, a cello concerto features the cello as the prominent instrument. A concerto is something that was composed for a solo instrument and orchestra. So in this particular case, Madeline was the soloist, and I was the 90-piece orchestra, or at least trying to be. You can catch a performance of this exact piece at the Milwaukee Symphony Orchestra this season. It's a really exciting time for us right now for a lot of reasons, but you can catch the show on November 16th, 17th, and 18th. You can go to mso.org to find the performance and check out all the other great things that are happening at the Milwaukee Symphony Orchestra, including our brand new hall, which is being built on Wisconsin Avenue. So thank you so much for having us here, and we hope you enjoy the rest of the podcast.
Thank you guys very much. Welcome to MKE ARTS Live, presented by the United Performing Arts Fund. I'm privileged to be your host, Adam Carr. This show is a showcase of the people, performances, and projects that make Milwaukee an incredible place and feature the creative community here. Today's theme is Revitalizing Milwaukee. And at this moment, there's a multi-million-dollar building boom downtown. And at the same time, in our city, we also have deeply rooted challenges where we hear about deindustrialization, about the profound racial disparity in Milwaukee. So the question we're going to talk about a little bit today is, how do creativity and culture fit into that picture? I happen to be joined on stage by an incredible man, Dr. Justin Mortara.
Thank you.
Round of applause for him before you even know what he does. So in our first season, we had Eric Johnson. We had Michael Pink last season, and now we have another person from the Milwaukee Ballet, another esteemed person. Dr. Mortara, in your own personal life, you have the company Mortara Instrument, and I want to get this right, a leading provider of medical device solutions that diagnose cardiovascular disease.
You've got that correct.
All right. You also happen to be the president of the board of the Milwaukee Ballet.
Very fortunate I am.
All right. So you guys have a lot going on right now. If you've been paying attention, you're also the Capital Campaign Chair. But I want to start a little bit in the past. The Milwaukee Ballet, since 1980, has called the Walker's Point neighborhood your home. So right on National Avenue, not too far from here. And I know that the neighborhood has been influenced on the ballet, and the ballet has been an influence on the neighborhood. Can you talk a little bit about the neighborhood that you've called home for almost 40 years?
Yeah, let's talk about that. But first, I guess I'd like to say thank you. It's a pleasure to be here and part of this discussion about revitalization of Milwaukee. As a Milwaukeean, I'm tremendously excited about what we see. I mean, it's really a phenomenal time to be part of our city. We have every right to be proud of what is happening, excited, energized, dare I say boastful. We do have challenges, for sure, challenges that we need to address, but I'm confident that we collectively can address those challenges. Walker's Point, 1980, when we first as a ballet moved or located ourselves at 5th and National. And it's interesting, when you wind back the clock to 1980, for myself, those were formative elementary, middle school years. And as it turns out, I have a board member who recently shared with me, she remembers first going to classes at 5th and National, ballet school classes, and it being a new place to go. Well, she is going to have the good fortune of opening our new home, which is speaking to the future. But Walker's Point, through that time, a great influence on the ballet. I'd like to say, perhaps over-generously so, but that the community adopted us, and we adopted the community, in the sense that we were welcomed in, and we welcomed those in the community into our school, into our building. We have sponsored scholarships to bring more of that community immediately surrounding the Walker's Point area into our schools, which has been a great thing. And then we'd like to think that being an anchor there at 5th and National and our presence there over nearly 40 years has done a lot to encourage other development around that street and that neighborhood.
Absolutely. So next chapter, the Baumgartner Center for Dance, 2 stories, 52,000 square feet, 7 dance studios, opening fall of 2019.
That's exciting.
Absolutely.
It's really exciting.
Tell me a little bit about the current project you're undertaking.
Well, you know, the current project, backing up a bit, because there's an important point in history for the ballet, and that is Michael Pink. 16 years ago, Michael Pink, who was previously on the program, came to Milwaukee and really started to shape the definition, the vision, the mission of Milwaukee Ballet. And he has been very consistent in that. And he's brought us to the point where we are today, where the ballet has consistently grown and now ultimately outgrown our home. So yes, at the end of Jackson in the 3rd Ward near the Italian Community Center, there is the Baumgartner Center for Dance. I was just there this afternoon signing the beam that will be the last beam put in place as we're finishing the framework of the building itself. It's tremendously exciting. It is going to give us a great capacity for future growth.
Absolutely. So how do you understand that move in the context of this moment of Milwaukee? As we kind of look at the city, what's happening, and making a new home for yourself there, how does that reverberate for you?
Well, it resonates really strongly, of course, and I think it's tremendous what is happening in the city, from our new Fiserv Forum, new home for the Symphony, new buildings going up, Northwestern Mutual, other buildings. It feels great to be part of this and to be part of continuing that energy of revitalization. In particular, since we're developing on a spot that was former rail yard / parking lot, underutilized space that we're going to make brighter as part of the 3rd Ward.
Absolutely. So down the road, in the next 10, 20 years or so, how do you plan to stay, we're talking about revitalization, how do you stay vital? How do you stay relevant being the Milwaukee Ballet?
Well, I think if I may be so bold as to speak for more art forms, I think it becomes extraordinarily important to realize that we have to engage a broader community. So it cannot simply be the season ticket holders of the Milwaukee Ballet coming season after season, performance after performance, to support and engage the ballet. The ballet's responsibility, now I'll speak specifically for Milwaukee Ballet, is to develop the audience, to reach into the community, and to do things not just that are great stories told on the stage, but also get off the stage and into the community, to bring the art of dance either into the schools or into the community for others to see and appreciate. Make it accessible. Don't make it something that is only for the few. Make it for the many. Make it truly every man's ballet. And that's what got me very excited about working with Michael Pink, because I see him doing that. It's much more than just classic ballet.
Absolutely. Well, Justin, thank you. We're going to have more discussion in a little bit, and we're going to take a field trip right now for the magic of video production. Let me have a prop here. Doors Open Milwaukee is this upcoming weekend. It's 22nd and 23rd. It is an incredible time to be in Milwaukee. 170 plus buildings will be open on that day. And we took a trip with Grace Fuhrer, who's actually in the audience, to 4 of the places that will be open for Doors Open. So you can go to all the places that you see here that are connected to arts and culture in some way. And with that, let's watch the video.
Hi, my name is Grace Fear. I am the Special Events Director for Historic Milwaukee. One of the programs I manage is Doors Open Milwaukee, which is coming up on September 22nd and 23rd. I'm here at Eline Hall at the Marcus Center for Performing Arts. This is one of over 170 buildings that you're going to be able to see during Doors Open. Today, you're going to get a little taste of 4 sites that are featured during the event, and you'll be able to explore your city. All right, let's go. So I'm here with Heidi from Marcus Center for Performing Arts.
We get an opportunity to be in this beautiful space right here, which is Wilson Theater at Vogel Hall.
Gorgeous.
You'll also get a chance to walk and look out onto Eline Hall stage, which is the largest venue inside the building. Seats almost 2,300 people, so it's a really great view. You'll get to see it from the performer's perspective as you walk through the building. And then you'll get an opportunity to go into Todd Ware Theater, which is where First Stage performs. And it was originally the home of the Milwaukee Rep when the building first opened here. And then you'll get a chance to see some of the other spaces, like down in the basement of the building, which is where performers get ready, chorus rooms are. You'll get a chance to kind of look at what we call the working space of the building, dressing rooms, that kind of stuff. And then a chance to look at like our beautiful ballroom that overlooks the river.
I'm here at the Mitchell Street Library with Miguel. It may not look like it, but this building was constructed in the year 1919. It housed a department store historically, and we're in, however, a very contemporary sound booth. Will you tell me a little bit about the space that we're in here at the Mitchell Street Library branch?
Yeah, so we're in the sound locker of the Mitchell Street Studio M makerspace. And so this is one part of the basement of the library that's full of different components to help the community come to create and to make and to have fun.
So I'm here with Eric Ledesma, who's the artist in resident at the Mitchell Street Library, which is very exciting. This library has a lot more than books to take out upstairs. There's kids programming and then a lot of arts-related programming.
So I worked very closely with a group of 8 interns to create a mural piece on some garage doors that are installed down here in the M studio. The garage doors are based around home culture and history. We worked with them for 2 months, and they were just recently installed.
Very neat.
Yeah, it is a little mark and piece of the teen interns that they can leave behind at the library.
So I'm here with Fatima, the owner of 5 Points Gallery and Studio. We're at the northern end of King Drive, and we're in what used to be a funeral home. It's going to have a much new, different kind of life by the time Doors Open rolls around. Tell us a little bit more about what you have planned here.
So I have purchased from the city this former funeral home, which was the Johnson Goolsbee Funeral Home and Services, to convert it into a mixed-use art space. The gallery, I should say, will premiere primarily artists of color or marginalized artists who need more representation within the art industry.
So Scott, you're with Northwestern Mutual. Tell me a little bit about the building that we're standing in right now.
Yeah, welcome to our facility. Our building is 1.1 million square feet. It's got the capacity of 3,100 people, and we're excited to have the opportunity to invite Doors Open into our area again this year. So people will come into our lobby and they'll be able to experience the Northwestern Mutual experience, which is a little bit of history about where we've come from in the last 160 plus years and where we intend to go in the future, as well as they'll have Starbucks available to them, so they'll be able to enjoy a cup of coffee, as well as to visit the Giving Gallery, which is a celebration of our community in process.
That's great.
We also will have the opportunity for people to visit Tapa Tower, which is going to be new for us this year.
That's going to be thrilling. Great. Let's go see the tower.
Awesome.
We're here at the top of the Northwestern Mutual building, 32 stories above Lake Michigan. There's beautiful views here. This could be you on September 22nd and 23rd. Come out, explore your city on Doors Open.
So you can get your own, if you're in the audience here, there are Doors Open guides out there. You can get your own, if you're at home, you can go find one of these. It is actually stressful how many incredible things you could do in one weekend. It's really fun. All right, so now we are joined on stage by 3 more wonderful people. We have Jeff Bentoff, Raj Saha, and Tia Richardson, all incredible people. And actually, I'm going to let themselves introduce in a nutshell who they are and what they do. Jeff, why don't we start with you?
Okay, I've been involved in helping build the city my whole career, largely through communications, working on everything from the Riverwalk to the Milwaukee streetcar, and also helped co-found Radio Milwaukee.
All right, Jeff and Tia.
So I'm a community mural artist. I work with schools and organizations out in the community to do murals and help them tell their stories.
On the way here, I took the 19 bus here, and I was riding on Forest Home, and I went past one of your murals, and I texted you.
And I said...
I was just letting everyone else in. Tia knew that.
Yeah.
Sorry. Raj.
I'm Raj Saha. I'm the general manager of Fiserv Forum. In a nutshell, it's the day-to-day operations and the long-term growth of the arena and the plaza and most of the 30-acre redevelopment that we're doing in that part of town. And I also oversee all of our programming initiatives from ticketed events to free events that we'll have on the plaza. My background is I've actually done this in 4 continents in the last 10 years, and I've worked in London, in Stockholm, in Berlin, in Istanbul, and Rio. I had been living on the beach in Rio, and our team president called us and said, we have a beach in Milwaukee, and I ended up here as well, too. So.
Welcome to Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
Thank you.
All right. So, I think there's much work to do in Milwaukee around the idea of revitalization, but I think a mistake we sometimes make is by not acknowledging what is already vital, what the things are that are working. I think sometimes by implication we could say we need revitalization, which means everything here needs to be revitalized. Can each of you, outside of your own work, give a shout out to something that you think is really working in the city right now? So something that you think, so not something you're specifically involved in, but something you think is really achieving the vitalization that we need.
Yeah, first of all, I love trying to get out of the arena. One of the cool things that I've seen in the 2 years that I've been living here is Milwaukee and the night market. And I personally, I wish it was something that would actually be more frequent in the city, but it's a great event, and I'm not sure how many people in this room have been. It's really cool, and you actually get a lot of people from different walks of life and different talent and different creativity there, and I think they've done an amazing job. I hope it does expand. I hope it expands both on a calendar standpoint and a footprint standpoint. And then obviously Northwestern Mutual's new tower is, when you talk about a physical revitalization, has been wonderful to see. They opened about a year before we did, so a lot of lessons learned on our point too. And I completely get signing the last beam that goes up in the truss as well. It's really cool, but that's when you start ripping your. I had a full head of hair when we put our last beam up. So good luck.
All right.
One of the things I was inspired by, a couple of my friends were in that video, and one of the things that I really enjoy seeing happening more in Milwaukee are some of the artist residency programs that are being adopted by organizations like the library. And in Clark Square, they also have an artist in residence. There's a pop-up for local young emerging artists to show their work on 4th and North Avenue. And there's a lot of urban gardening initiatives that are resident-driven to bring vitality to their neighborhoods, also beautification. So some of the projects I've been involved with on the south side and the north side, I've gotten to meet neighbors who are leading those initiatives. And there's a few more. Silver Spring Neighborhood Center is one. Also, someone mentioned, you mentioned getting out in the community. On the south side, they have the Mariachi Juvenil, the Latino Arts Strings program that it brings such a rich. I just love their program and what they're able to do.
We were able to have them on this stage as well as Dinar Marquez.
Yeah.
So that was an incredible treat. Absolutely. Cool. You guys want to share?
Sure. One thing is, just downtown, near downtown neighborhoods, watching the housing with people like the Mandel Group and Jeff Jeffers, redeveloping buildings into commercial and other things. The entertainment scene with what you're doing at Fiserv and the Pabst Theater Group and other things like that, the restaurant scene downtown. But one area that I think has been written about, but it's very important, what you're seeing up at Fond du Lac, what you're seeing with Julie Kaufman doing with the Wally Schmidt building, and Caitlin Cullen, who's put in a restaurant there, serving the city and bringing employees from that area to work, to be trained, and working with people with prison records. It's very good seminal thing that could really spread.
Absolutely. If you keep going northwest on Fond du Lac, you get out to the Sherman Phoenix too, which is
And another Julie.
That was another one I wanted to mention.
Yeah, definitely.
All right.
Yeah, and then I guess, you said it very well, Jeff, about watching the revitalization of housing. And in particular, of course, we've seen a tremendous amount in the downtown area. But, a smaller project, but nonetheless very ambitious that catches my eye is Sculpture Milwaukee, where there we've got artwork installed all along Wisconsin Avenue. And it is a reminder that Wisconsin Avenue and the city itself can be a great, vibrant place, and that there are meaningful pieces of art installed along that corridor, becoming conversation pieces. Outside of Northwestern Mutual, we have the Love sculpture. And without fail, every time I'm going by there's somebody standing in front of it, getting their picture taken with some love. And that's great. I love that.
Yeah. I love, too, that they also included everyone from Robert, Indiana to Hank Willis Thomas. So there's a really wide gamut. Yeah. And can I answer the question? Do I have permission?
Yes.
All right.
We want to hear what you think.
You reminded me of across the street from 4th and North Avenue is America's Black Holocaust Museum. And that is reopening this fall. And when I was in 4th grade, we went on a field trip there. And when it closed, it kind of felt like it would be gone forever, as many things have disappeared in Milwaukee. And it is truly amazing that that's going to be right back there at the heart of 4th and North Avenue. And maybe folks will, before they come to the Fiserv Forum, will go to America's Black Holocaust Museum. All right, so one of the underlying frustrations I feel sometimes we have in the conversation about revitalization is that people aren't on the same page on what the challenges are. So people will be talking about it and it will feel like there's discord or friction in the discussion because the premises aren't the same. So can you guys describe how you understand the challenges Milwaukee face and then how that informs the work you do? Which I just want to point out, this is like the most unfair panel ever. It's like, okay, we have 7 minutes, and now answer the question I just asked.
Well, I can start. Because I work with mainly youth and adults, and historically at my work, I've been doing this since 2007, has been in MPS and it's been in surrounding communities, so central Milwaukee. And I've encountered, personally, what I've seen is just a lot of, there's a lot of low self-esteem and a sense of like, I can't. So what I have noticed that the arts can do, or getting people to participate in a project, getting out and experiencing life and seeing what they can do, there's a sense of power that brings. And so one of the issues is the lack of power thereof that is just prevalent, and there's a sense of hopelessness. And so I feel like, a lot of what I'm addressing behind the scenes in my work is a way to feel powerful. And so there's a kind of power that I see happens in that some of you can probably understand when you work in the arts, whether it's as an educator, that, you're bringing self-esteem, you're bringing sense of character development, you're bringing working together that, helps people feel like they're not alone in their community, and that there are others in their community that they can work alongside of as we're painting this mural together, and there's 50 people that they start to then see themselves in relationship to their community as a whole differently.
Absolutely. Thank you, Tia.
Wow, that's hard to follow. That's really hard to follow.
We agree.
Beat that, Bentoff.
I think Tia's onto something here. No, I think really, a lot of the issues that need to be solved in Milwaukee start with poverty, a lack of education, what's been described as trauma from poverty, which the Journal Sentinel and Marquette have been working on. And it's completely hard nut to crack. But, the kind of work you're doing, I think, is really important. 889 does a good job in shining light on the good things going on in the community and some of the problems. It's almost intractable, but we have to keep working on it. And it's, I don't think any of us is going to have a solution in our remaining 6 minutes.
Yeah. But I think inherent in your question, Adam, was, there's debate about what to do. And, I think part of the tough policy question is how do you prioritize things? Because, the till is not infinitely full, excuse me. So, that's a real struggle, and I think when public funds are involved, it's a struggle that has to happen in the open. We have to have a discussion about it. But then there are other initiatives that do go on in the private sector where I would say it's not a matter of choosing them ahead of something else. There's passion, there's purpose, and so progress gets made. We do need to focus the dialogue around how to prioritize what we're funding in the public space because it's so very important.
Yeah, I'm going to probably say everything that's been, I'll repeat everything that's been said. Obviously, it's PPP, it's private-public partnership, and how dollars are viewed, how dollars are spent on this, and how that leads into experience and opportunity. I was fortunate. I grew up in New York, in the late 70s, early 1980s, before a lot of funding to schools and programs was cut. It helped me get a scholarship to college. It, I think it put me on a road that I can travel the world on someone else's dime, which has been great. But no, I think the till is not large. There's more hands that want to get access into the till, and we have to deal with it on a basketball side all the time. We have a certain number of tickets, but we don't have an infinite number of tickets. And so when we go out and people want to fundraise and organizations want to fundraise and we want to try and get people exposed to entertainment as well too. It's just how do we do that all? Because a lot of times we're always going to have more demand than we actually have supply in order to reach out in the community. And so it's just the discussion's a lot bigger than 6 or 7 minutes. It's just how does the public and how does the private sector come together and actually identify the 10 issues, the 20 issues to solve this and to get kids and young people more engaged.
Absolutely.
Can I add to that?
Yeah.
One of the things, this is another plus, this might be another question you're asking, but the number of partnerships that I'm seeing is increasing. Yeah. Because I'm contracting in so many different places. I'm seeing these cross sectors partnerships start to happen, and that's happening more and more. It's a good thing. Yeah.
That's good.
So if you're out in the audience, get a question ready because we're running out of time. I'm going to ask you guys to answer in a sentence. This is even more unfair. In 20 years, after the current wave of revitalization takes hold, so the roots go down and we see things blossom, where do you see the city of Milwaukee in like a sentence? Give me a good sentence.
I'm just going to give you a term, a global city. I think that's where we want to try to get to. Obviously, Foxconn's development will hopefully help this, but I've lived in cities of 20 to 25 million people, and there's people from everywhere, though. In Istanbul, I met friends from all over the world. Same thing in Sao Paulo and in Rio, and I think I think the aim is to be a global city.
Use a semicolon.
Run on.
Well, I'll say more of a cultural democracy, and you can look up what that word means, and that is what my goal for the world. But a way to equalize what constitutes culture, how it gets to be expressed, who is able to produce it, which as a community artist, any and everybody, I believe, is capable of creating, and how we get to experience that. And I'm all for street corner musicians and like any and everywhere. And maybe I don't even have to buy a ticket to experience it, and maybe I get to create it within my own community. And there's a lot of resources and support for me and my neighbors to do that.
Absolutely. You also use a semicolon. That's okay.
20 years from now, fastest growing city in the region. To knock out Chicago, Minneapolis from those perches and take over the lead as the place people want to come to live in the Midwest. I think it's absolutely achievable. We're on the right course to do so.
Well, I think we're going to see the redevelopment of more of Milwaukee. So what you're seeing in the center of the city and the neighborhoods surrounding it spreading. An example is what's happened in Menominee Valley, which was pretty much a wasteland for 30 or 40 years, and it's been redeveloped, parks and jobs. I think you're going to see that spreading to other neighborhoods that have been missing. As long as the national economy goes, I think Milwaukee's going to exceed it.
Absolutely. Thank you all. Does anyone from the audience want to do a question? Who has a question? I have more questions. All right, yes.
For Dr. Mortara, how did you get involved with the ballet?
Well, thank you. Justin's good too. So I had no connection to dance whatsoever, but my sister-in-law was good enough to take our then 2 young children to see the ballet, and I honestly didn't want to go, because you're taking 2 young children to a ballet performance. They're going to want to get up in the middle of it and leave. They did not want to get up in the middle of it. They wanted to come back afterwards and tell me all about it. And this was a performance of Peter Pan. At which point I said, oh my goodness, here are children aged 6 and 3, want to talk all about a ballet performance they went to. I need to meet the creator of Peter Pan. Of course, that was Michael Pink. And that's what brought me to the ballet.
Yes. Grace, from Doors Open Milwaukee.
Hello.
Which is this weekend.
That's right, Saturday and Sunday. Tia, can you tell us a little bit about, I'd love to know where your murals are, where we can see them, and also an example of the best project that you've worked on in terms of partnership and support that you received.
Okay. So 47th and Center is a mural called Sherman Park Rising that I did with over 150 residents there. And that by far right now is my largest scale collaboration, and there were 5 or 6 or 7 community organizations, block clubs, block watches. Safe and Sound was my partner in there, and then the city of Milwaukee funded it. So that's one. 47th Center, Black Cat Alley, I have one. Just finished the one he was talking about on 13th and Forest Home. There's 2 there that I did over 2 years in partnership with Building Neighborhood Capacities Program, which was a federally funded program, and Milwaukee Christian Center and Kosciuszko Community Center were the anchor orgs that hired me to work with a group of teens to produce those murals, this 13th Forest Home. And then, website plug?
Go for it.
www.cosmic-butterfly.com. You can see videos of my work, and there's a gallery of other projects. 4th and North Avenue, right across from the America's Black Holocaust Museum, is a new one.
Is All People's Church open for Doors Open? Yes. Tia has a great mural in there.
I love that one, yeah.
All right, so we are going to see our final performance. I told this, Dr. Mortara, Justin, is obviously a fan of dance, but I told him he would be able to leave by now. And we're holding, so you are dismissed. You may go.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Justin. I thought we were doing a hug. Almost went through up. So our performance here, actually, this is wonderful. This is Danceworks, and these are company members of Danceworks on Tap, Amy Brinkman, Annette, Grefig, and Katherine Stein, and they're performing Swingology.
Don't mean a thing if you ain't got that swing. It don't mean a thing, all you gotta do is swing. Makes no difference if it's sweet or hot. Just give that rhythm every little thing you got. It don't mean a thing if you ain't got that swing.
Don't mean a thing if it ain't got that swing. It don't mean a thing if you ain't got that swing, boy. I said don't mean a thing, and all you got to do is sing like.
makes a difference if it's sweet or hot. Just give that rhythm everything you've got.
What good is melody? What good is music if it ain't possessing something sweet? It ain't the melody, it ain't the music. There's something else that makes the tune complete. Woo! Do-a, 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 do-a. It makes no difference if it's sweet or hot. Just give that rhythm everything you've got, because it don't mean a thing if it ain't got that swing.
And that will do it for this episode of MKE Arts Live. I want to thank again Lynn and Peter from the MSO, Dr. Justin Mortara from the Milwaukee Ballet, Grace Fuhrer and Doors Open, Tia, Raj, and Jeff, Amy, Annette, and Katherine from Danceworks, the United Performing Arts Fund for being the sponsor of this, 88.9 Radio Milwaukee, Epic Creative for doing production, and let me just give a shout out to Amy, who taught me how to tap dance when I was a kid. So on the next episode we have, and it's going to be the last episode of this season, is Firsts, World Premieres, Breaking Ground, and Original Work right on this stage. And to sing us off, I'm going to sing the aria from, I hear that we don't have any time for that. Okay, not this time, next time. Maybe next time? Okay, all right, we got to go, and see you next time on MKE Arts Live. Thank you.